Well, hello everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are here today, and I'm really looking forward to this class. Okay, this class is going to be very interesting because we're not just going to talk about grammar or vocabulary or things like that. We're actually going to describe real things that are happening. Okay, so the goal of today's class is to describe the different things that I'm going to show you guys. All right, so I hope you guys are ready for that. Now, before we get to that, we're just going to do some introductions, okay? Because I want to get an idea of who is here in the class today.
We're just
So,
going to do some
sorry
introduction.
about that. I'm just going to turn the volume down. So, I want to get an idea of who's here. So, in the comments, I'm going to post a few questions for you guys. And what I'd like to know from you is one, what's your name? Two, what country are you from? And three, today I'd like to know who is your favorite American actor? Okay, man or woman? So I'll introduce myself first. My name is Patricia. I'm from the United States, and my favorite American actor is, I'll put Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington has been a favorite actor of mine for a long time. So I think it's fair to put his name. My favorite American actor is Denzel Washington. Now, you guys can tell me in the comments what's your name, what country are you from, and who is your favorite American actor? All right, guys? So I see that Layden is here. Layden, how are you? You were here last time. Thanks for coming back. Now, other people, please make sure you tell me your name, what country you're from, and I'd love to know who's your favorite American actor. Okay, once I know your names, I can talk to you more specifically and I can really help you a lot with this class. All right, so oh, Layden is not your name. Your name is Aisha. Okay, perfect. See, I didn't know that. So, Aisha, hello. So, anybody else who's there, make sure you tell me your name, what country you're from, and if you can, think of someone who's your favorite American actor. Now, the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about today is before we get into describing things and what I have planned, this is always a place where you guys can come and ask any questions that you have about English. Okay. So I would love to know before we get started with anything else, do you guys have any questions about English that you would like me to answer today? Any questions that you have about English, I'd be happy to answer. All you have to do is type it into the chat box so that I can see what your question is, and then I'll answer it as best as I can. All right, guys. So if you have any questions about English, put those questions in the comments now. I want to start class by answering your questions. Now, if you guys don't have any questions, we're going to get started with the rest of class and the things that I have planned. So I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to type in your questions or think of your questions, okay? Take a couple minutes and think about it. And while you're thinking, I'm just going to mention a couple of quick announcements and then we'll get to class. So, first announcement, this free class happens pretty much every week. Okay, so if you are interested in other classes like this, my suggestion to you is that you follow my Facebook page. If you follow my Facebook page, you will always see when I have new events planned. And a lot of my new events are these classes. So if you are interested in that, I would suggest that you follow my Facebook page. Okay, for those of you who don't know where the Facebook page is, I'll type it into the chat box, and you guys can do that at the end of class. You can go to the Facebook page and you can like it so that you don't miss any of these other classes. The second announcement is I have a club for English students. Hey, Faris, how are you? Thanks for coming today. So I have an English club for students. And that English club is so that I can help students by sending them all of the free materials that I provide. There are videos, there's the Facebook page, there are articles that I write. So if you're interested in getting those materials, and if you're not in my club yet, if you're not in the Ivy League English Club, then you should go to my website and you can join my club from right there on the website. Okay. So I'll put that in the comments or in the chat box as well. So if you guys are interested, you can join that club. And the last announcement is that I have small group classes and private classes that I teach as well. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit smaller, like my small group classes that I teach are 3 to 6 students, and I have a conversation skills class that's starting in March. I had a listening skills class, but that one is full. I can't take any more students for that class. But the conversation skills class starts on March 18th. If you're interested in that class, you can go to my website and get some more information about that. Okay. Now, I'm going to look through the comments and see if anyone has any English questions, because if you do, we're going to start with those. Kamal, hello, Kamal. How are you? Your favorite actor is Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, okay? Remember, Hanks has an S at the end, but Tom Hanks is an amazing actor. Let's see. Aisha, you said your favorite actor was Kanan. Now, Kanan is not American, but I know who he is. He's also a rapper, isn't he? I know who that is. All right. And let's see who else is here. No favorite actor, Faris, because your English is not that good. Okay, I understand that. And let's see. All right, it looks like all of the comments for right now. So there aren't any questions about English, so we're going to get started with what I have planned for today. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the supplies that we're using today. Okay, the supplies that we're using today. So my first question for you is, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Can anyone take a guess? I'll give you a couple of hints. This is from my kitchen. Most people have this in their kitchen. It's not something that you put in the fridge. It doesn't have to go in the fridge. You usually just keep it in the cabinet. And it's not oil. So what do you think it is? Take a guess. What is this? What is in this bottle? Does anybody know? All right. Even if you're not sure, it's okay to take a guess. What do you guys think is in this bottle? I'll give you a few more seconds and then I'll let you know. All right. So if you're not sure what this is, good guess. Okay. Very good. It looks like water. It does look like water because it's clear, but it's not water. This is actually vinegar. Vinegar. Okay. I'm going to type it in so you guys can see how it's spelled. But tell me if you know what that word means, because if you don't know what this is, I can explain it to you. The way I would describe it is that vinegar tastes sour. Vinegar tastes sour. And if you smell it, it has a strong smell. Okay, it has a strong smell. So this is vinegar. All right. Aisha, what did you say? Oh, you don't know any American actors. All right, that's okay. I know some English students, they love to watch movies in English because it helps them with their listening skills. So a lot of English students that I meet, they have a favorite actor because they watch a lot of movies in English. But if you don't, that's okay. Aisha, that is a really good guess. So this, I was just going to get to that. This is vinegar, but there are lots of different types of vinegar. So this one that looks like water, this is called white vinegar. White vinegar, because it's made from white wine. It's made from white wine. Okay. Now, this one is also vinegar, but it's darker colored. It's kind of reddish. So we call this one red vinegar. Red vinegar. It's hard to see because the bottle is dark, but this one is red vinegar. Now, this is another type of vinegar. This one is made from rice. So it's called rice vinegar. Rice vinegar. All right. And the last one that I'll show you today, this one is made from apples. It's made from apples. So this vinegar we call apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar. All right. So those are just a few types of vinegars. There are more. I just don't have them all in my kitchen today. So, yes, very good, guys. If you said it was vinegar, excellent. Now, one thing I want to remind you, if you are trying to work on your pronunciation or your speaking skills, if you hear a new word, you should say the word after I say it. So if vinegar is a new word for you, make sure you say the word a few times. Vinegar, apple cider vinegar, rice vinegar. Okay, make sure you practice your pronunciation while you're here. You might as well. Now, besides vinegar, I have something else, and it comes in a box like this. Sometimes this is how I bought it. You might see it in other containers, but that's how I bought it. And this is, it's a white powder. It's a white powder. And you would usually use this if you were going to bake a cake or something like that. Maybe to bake cookies, you might use it. So this ingredient, okay, this is used to make your cookies or your cake make rise. Okay, this makes your cookies or your cake rise when you bake it. Okay, it makes it light, it makes it airy. All right, so my question is, what is this? What is it called in English? Do you guys know what it's called? If you have an idea, if you have a guess, I want you to put that in the comments. Okay, guys, see if you can tell me what this white powder is that's used to bake cookies or cakes. For raise, yes. So the way you want to say that is it's used to make foods rise. Okay, it's used to make foods rise. That's how we would say it in English. But what is it called? What is it called? Any guesses? If you guys aren't sure, that's okay. So this powder, we call it baking powder. It's a very simple name. It's a powder that we use for baking. So it's called baking powder. Or actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not baking powder. It's baking soda. I'll type it in for you. Baking soda. Yes, like bread. Yes, it could be used in bread. It depends on the type of bread. Okay. Some bread uses yeast. Yeast can also make things rise. And yeast is used in bread a lot of the times. But there are some breads that would use baking soda. All right. So, yeah, good guess. Absolutely. It's used to make foods rise, sometimes bread, sometimes cake, sometimes cookies. All right. I have one more thing to show you guys, and then we're going to try something interesting, really interesting. Yes, Aisha, baking, not baking powder, though. Baking powder is a little bit different. Okay. So, let me explain the difference between baking powder and baking soda. Baking powder has baking soda in it. Okay. So baking powder is baking soda plus we add other things to it, and that makes baking powder. Baking soda is just baking soda. There's nothing else added to it. There's nothing mixed into it. So this is baking soda, and baking powder is when they take baking soda and they mix other things into it. That's called baking powder. And they're both used for baking, right? Baking soda and baking powder. Exactly, exactly. Good job, guys. All right. So I have one more thing to show you. So I got a little bottle here, And I hope you can see it. Now, it might be hard to tell what it is, so I'm going to open the top and now take a look and tell me what you think this might be. Okay, it's got a nice bright red color. What do you think this is? A good oh, not a cooker. So someone who makes cakes is called a baker, not a cooker. Because when you make a cake or cookies, you bake them in the oven. So a person who makes cookies or cakes is called a baker. So am I a good baker? Is that what you're asking me? Am I a good baker? Yeah, I actually bake a lot. I'm a good baker. I love baking cookies, especially not cakes. I don't really like cakes. So, good try. Flavor. This is not for flavor. That's a good guess, though. It's, look at the color. Such a bright, beautiful color. And I have another one here that has another bright color. What do you guys think that is? Yes, there you go. I'm a good baker. Yes, exactly. So, what do we call these things? Any guesses? All right, I'm going to help you guys out with this. So, first, I'm going to tell you what word you should not use to describe this. A lot of students, when they see something like this that's used to color things or to give things color, they would say it's a dye. Okay, and I'll type that word in so you can see it. I don't mean dye like I died. I mean dye, D-Y-E, which is something that you use to color things. But here's the thing that you need to remember, okay? If you're going to add color to clothes, like this shirt that I'm wearing is blue, or to paper. If you look at this paper here, it's green. If you're going to color something like that, you use dye. But when you add color to something that you want to eat, right? And these are specifically for foods, we don't call it dye. We call it food coloring. Food coloring. All right. So I have two different colors here. I have red food coloring and I have blue food coloring. All right. Yes, exactly, Aisha. It's used to color foods. So if you're talking about coloring food, you're going to call it food coloring. If it's used to color other things like clothes or paper or anything like that, then you would call it a dye. All right. So those are the three things that we're going to use today. And here's a question for you. I wonder if you guys have an idea of what we're going to do. I showed you vinegar, I showed you baking soda, and I showed you food coloring. What do you think we're going to do today? Does anybody have any guesses? I'll give you guys about 10 seconds. See if you can take a guess. What do you think we're going to do today? And while you do that, I'm going to get ready. So, any guesses? What do you think we're going to do today? We have vinegar, we have baking soda, and we have food coloring. Any guesses, guys? Come on, don't be shy. Don't be scared. Take a guess. It's okay if you're wrong. Take a guess. What are we going to do today? No ideas? All right, guys. Here's what we'll do. We're going to get started. I'm not going to tell you. We're just going to get started. So, here's where I want you guys to start describing things. Okay. So, I'm going to do things and I want you to describe them. So, the first step for today is this. And I want you to write a sentence, or you can write more than one sentence to describe what I'm doing. Okay. What did I just do? Write a sentence to describe that, and I'll help you with your sentence, okay? I'll help you with any grammar or any other things like that. So, type in a sentence to describe what I just did, okay? I'll even show you one more time. What did I just do? All right, I'm going to give you guys some time. Type in your sentence. What did I just do? How would you describe what I just did? Okay, I'm watching the chat box. Yes, very good. Very nice. Okay, I see one, but there's more than one person here. I know there are other people here. Make sure you type in a sentence so that I can help you with your English. If you don't type anything in, I can't help you guys, okay? So you got to type something in. All right. So I see, I think your name is Talal. I hope I said that correctly. So your sentence is opening the container, right? So yes, I am opening the container. Okay. Or you could say, I opened the container if you wanted to use the past tense. Excellent. I opened the container, or I am opening the container. Very good. So now here's the next step, and I want you to describe this. What did I just do? What did I just do? Okay. I'll show you one more time. This is the next step. What did I just do? How would you describe that? Okay, type in a sentence. Type in a sentence. Margaret, okay, thank you for telling me your name. I don't always know the names from, what the little YouTube name says. So Margaret, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. So what did I just do? I'm not asking you to describe what's in my hand. What did I do? Describe this whole action. What did I just do? Okay, I'm not looking for one word. I'm looking for a sentence. What did I just do? I'll give you guys a few more seconds. All right, yeah, I know it takes time to type. Yes, okay. Putting the container on, this is, you might not be able to tell, but this is actually a plate. This is a plate, okay? A table is, my table is down here, right? The table is where I have my notebook. It's where I have my microphone. Those things are on the table. This, I'm putting the container on the plate, okay? All right, let's see. Margaret, I put the glass. Okay, so close. This is why I want you guys to write those sentences. So, Margaret, this is not a glass because of the material, because of what it's made out of. This is made out of plastic, not glass. So we don't call it a glass. You can call it a container. That's a good word to use. Somebody mentioned that word earlier, so you can call it a container. It's only a glass if it's actually made out of glass. And I don't actually have a glass here today, sorry. But this is a container, and this is not a bowl. A bowl, I thought this might come up. A bowl is shaped like this, okay? So a bowl is something that you can put liquids in, like soup or something like that. This is very flat. So if it's flat, you can't call it a bowl. We call it a plate. Okay. Another word you might hear is if the plate is really big, you might hear it called a platter. A platter. I'll type that word in because that's a pretty advanced word. A big flat plate is sometimes called a platter. Okay. So now, Talal, you said putted. Putted is not a word in English. The past tense of put is put. There's no ed at the end of put, okay? So you can say that I put the container on the plate, and that's the present tense. Or if you want to talk about the past, maybe something that happened yesterday. Yesterday, I put the container on the plate. Whether it's present tense or past tense, you still use put. You don't put ed at the end of that word. That's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up, okay? All right, so let's see other comments. You you are put the white powder in the plate. Okay, very good. Faris, I'm glad you wrote that sentence because you want to say I put, not I am put. So I put the white powder on the plate. On the plate. Okay? We use on because this is very flat, like a table. Because it's flat, like a table, we would use the same words that we would use for a table. You put something on a table, you put something on a plate. Now, if I had this bowl and I put the container here, then I would say I put the white powder in the bowl. In the bowl, okay? Because the bowl has an inside, because there's room in there. But the plate is just flat. It's either on the plate or it's not on the plate. Okay, so that's another good point. Very good. Margaret, I put the white powder on the plate. Exactly. I put the white powder on the plate. Very good. Now, Faris, the other thing I'm going to tell you is that you can say, I am putting the white powder on the plate. You can say, I am putting the white powder on the plate, or I put the white powder on the plate. Okay. Either one is fine. All right. So now I have my white powder, which is baking soda. I have my baking soda on the plate. And this bottle right here has vinegar in it. This is white vinegar. Okay. And this is the type of bottle, if you look at it here, it's the type of bottle where you can turn it upside down, and that's how you get the liquid out. That's how the vinegar comes out. Now, what do you guys think I'm going to do next? What do you think I'm going to do next? What do you think I'm going to do next? All right, let me see what we have. Yes, so you can say either one. I put the white powder on the plate, or I am putting the white powder on the plate. Yes, Margaret, both of those sentences are good. Absolutely. Faris, you are putting the container on the plate. Excellent. That is very good. I am putting the container on the plate. Now, what do you guys think I'm going to do next? What am I going to do next? Take a guess. What do you think I'm going to do next? Aisha, let me see what you have. I'm putting the white powder on the plate. Yes, I'm putting the white powder on the plate. And oh, Dean, hello. I didn't even see your name before. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Very good. So, I am going to, because remember, I didn't do it yet, but I am going to pour vinegar in the powder. Okay, so let's talk about that sentence, Dean. So, pouring is a word that you would use if I was pouring from the bottle. Yes, if it was from the bottle like this, you would use the word pouring. Now, here's the difference. This bottle, we wouldn't use the word pouring because of the size of the opening. Okay, if you look at that opening there, it's so small that the only way the liquid comes out is if I squeeze the bottle. So if I have to squeeze the bottle, we don't use the word pouring, because pouring means that it just comes out by itself. So what's another word that you could use instead of pouring? Okay, what is another word that you could use instead of pouring? Oh, Abdullahi, I hope I said your name correctly. Dropping. So, you know what? You could use that word because as the liquid comes out, it's going to drop out. You could say, I am going to drop some vinegar into the powder. You could say drop. What are some other words you could use, guys? There are lots of words that you could use. Okay, we can take that sentence from Talal and let's all work on that one. Instead of pouring or pour, what else could we use? Manira, hey, how are you? Welcome to class. All right, so we're working on that sentence. And while you guys think about this, here's something else to think about. When I take this liquid and I do this, it's going to go into the container. Most people would say into the container. Now, this is a question that I get from students a lot. in and into. Is it really that important to know which one to use? Are there times when it doesn't matter? Yes, this is one of those things that I think students worry about too much. Okay. You can pour the vinegar into the container. Most people would say that. You could say, I'm going to put vinegar in the container. I'm going to put vinegar in the container. Yes, Talal, you took the words right out of my mouth. I hope you guys know that expression. So, yes, you can use the word put, margar, casting. You could say cast, but cast is not a common word in American English. It's very formal and it's a little bit old. Okay. So here are some words that you guys could use. I am going to put vinegar. I'm going to put vinegar into the container. You could say, I'm going to drop. Someone said drop. You could put drop. Aisha, add is a good word to use. I'm going to add vinegar to the baking soda. You could also say, now these are the words that I think maybe you guys aren't familiar with. I'm going to squeeze vinegar into the baking soda. Okay. So this is a word that's a little bit advanced. Squeeze. Okay. Squeeze means you push together, right? This is squeezing. I'm squeezing the bottle. Another word that you might hear is squirt. I'm going to squirt vinegar into the baking soda. Okay, so squirt is another word that's a little bit advanced, but you guys are definitely ready for some advanced words. I'm going to squirt vinegar into the baking soda or squeeze vinegar into the baking soda. Now, I'm going to open this container. I'm going to get ready to squeeze the vinegar into the container, but I want to ask you guys first, what's going to happen when I put the vinegar into the baking soda? What's going to happen when I put the vinegar into the baking soda? I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to take some guesses because some of you guys might know what's going to happen. So tell me what you think is going to happen if you're familiar with this. Yes, Faris, I am putting vinegar in the container. I am putting vinegar in the container. Okay. Now remember, you can also use into. Into the container is also good for this sentence. In or into. Into is maybe a little more common. It's a little more descriptive. It's a little clearer, but some people might say in. Okay, so if you're worried about in or into in this sentence, don't worry about it that much. Mixed. Mixing is different, Aisha. So mixing is usually when you do something like this. I'm mixing. Okay, so after I add the vinegar to the baking soda, then I will mix it. Yes, then I'll mix it. Maybe he'll see if I need to mix it or not. So Aisha, after I add the vinegar, then the mixing might happen. Okay, but first you have to add it. You have to put it in. You can squirt it into the baking soda. You can squeeze it into the baking soda. There are lots of words that you can use. All right. So I don't see any guesses. Nobody has any idea what's going to happen. All right. Well, this should be interesting. So here's my baking soda. Okay. And I hope you guys can see that clearly. And here's my vinegar. Now, you guys, all you have to do is watch what happens. And when you see something happen, I want you to describe what you see happening. I want you to describe what you see happening. All right, guys. So I showed you a few times. Describe what you see happening. What just happened? Okay, I'll give you guys a few seconds. I know it's going to take some time for you to think about it, to come up with the words that you need to describe that, because This is a little bit complicated, okay? You guys are going to have to think a little bit. I want to challenge you guys to really help you improve your English. I don't want to just give you easy things to describe because that's not going to help you very much. So, Aisha, evaporate is an interesting word to use. It is a science kind of word. It's a word that's related to science, but this is not evaporating. Evaporating is a different that's a different action. Okay. All right. We have some other guesses here. Manira, making gas. Yes. So there is, when I put the vinegar into the baking soda, it did make gas. Now, here's one thing to remember gas has one S. Okay. So it's making gas, right? Abdullahi, filtering. Filtering is not what I would use to describe this. Filtering is a little bit different. Okay. Now, Faris, yes, as I poured the vinegar into the baking soda, they mixed together. Okay. I actually didn't have to do much mixing myself. They kind of mixed together all by themselves. But what did you see happen after that? Nakota, birds are fake. I don't understand. If you can explain a little bit more, I'd be happy to help you. Okay. Dean. All right, let me see what you have, Dean. There is an interaction between vinegar and powder soda. Okay, that's a very descriptive sentence. Dean, I like that. Let's talk about that for a minute. So, interaction is close, okay? It is an interaction, but a lot of times when we're talking about science and different chemicals like vinegar and baking soda, we'll use the word reaction. Reaction, okay? So there is a reaction between vinegar and the other thing is baking soda. Okay. That's the other term, just so you remember. It's called baking soda. Okay. There's baking powder and there's baking soda. Today, we're using baking soda. All right. So they react. Nicoda, yes, very good. They react. When I put the vinegar into the baking soda, they react. And what happened? Someone said it made gas. How else could you describe what it did? How else could you describe that? I'm going to give you guys a few seconds. How else can you describe that? Someone used the phrase, it makes gas, which is a good way to describe it. But there are other ways to describe it. So I'll give you guys a few seconds to think about it. How else can you describe what just happened? And I'm actually going to show it to you one more time. All right. So let me see what you guys would let me see how you guys would describe this. Okay. Let me see. Dark thunder. Okay. So take the mix into oven. Margaret, I don't understand. What do you mean by take the mix into oven? All right, we're gonna look at that whole reaction one more time, and I'm gonna see how you guys describe it. Okay, now we're gonna do the reaction just a little bit differently this time. Okay, Nakota, mix flour to make bread. Okay, but I want you guys to describe what's happening right here. Okay. We're not talking about bread. We're not talking about an oven. We're talking about what's going on right here in this container. That's what I want you to describe. Okay. Just like someone said, it makes gas. Nakota, very nice. Bubbles. Bubbles are another word that you could use to describe what's going on here. So, Nakota, you brought up a very good word. Now, how about if we put it into a sentence? Okay. How can we use the word bubbles to make a sentence to describe what just happened? Talal, the vinegar is flowing into the container. You you could use that. You could use that. When you see a bottle like this that has to be squeezed, most people will say squirt or squeeze. Native speakers, When we see a bottle like this, we say squirt or squeeze a lot of the times. It's okay to say put or add, but words like pour or flow, we don't really use with a bottle like this. If it was a bottle like this with a bigger opening, then you would say the vinegar pours, or I pour the vinegar, or the vinegar flows into the baking soda. For a bottle like that, you could say that because you don't have to squeeze the bottle, the liquid just falls out. Okay? If the liquid just falls out, that's when you can use words like flow or pour. Okay? All right, Talal, very good. So now, bubbles. The reaction makes bubbles. Nakota, very good. The reaction makes bubbles. That's very nice. So now, very good, guys. So we're going to add some color to this reaction, and we're going to take a vote. Okay? So if you want the next reaction to be red, then I want you to type in red. And if you want the next reaction to be blue, then I want you to type in blue. Okay? So you guys tell me, what do you want to see next? Do you want to see a red reaction or do you want to see a blue reaction? Which one do you want to see? Okay? You let me know and then I will deal with the vinegar. Okay? Oh, did I say your name correctly, Nakota? Awesome. I'm always a little bit nervous when I say people's names because I'm not sure. I just have to take a guess. And I hate to say someone's name wrong because I know that makes people feel not that good, you know? So, yes, I'm glad I said your name correctly. Yellow, Talal, what are you talking about? Yellow. Yellow is not an option. All right, I see someone said blue, red, red, blue, red. Wait a second. You guys can't vote more than once. Cut it out. Cut it out. You can only vote one time. All right, so Nakota said blue. Dean said red. Margaret said red. Talal said yellow. I'm not going to count that. Aisha said blue. So it's tied. And then Talal, you have to pick. Talal, you're the tiebreaker. I have 2 votes for blue and I have 2 votes for red. You can't vote for yellow. You have to vote for something else. Talal, we need you to be the tiebreaker. Margaret, you guys didn't win yet. Oh, Talal says blue. All right, we're going to go blue. So red is... No, red didn't win. Red didn't win. All right, we're going to go blue for today. All right. Dark Thunder say blue. You guys are funny. All right, so I want you to describe what I'm doing now. What am I doing? What am I doing, guys? I want you to write a sentence. Okay, type it in so that I can help you with your sentence. What did I just do? What did I just do? You can also describe this. What am I doing now? What am I doing now? Okay, guys, so type in some sentences so that I can help you to fix those sentences. All right, guys? Describe what I am doing. Let's see. Nakota, dripping. Close, close, Nakota. All right, let me help you with that. I think the word you want to use is dropping. Okay? So I am dropping, or I was dropping food coloring into the vinegar. Okay? So I'll do a few more. Dropping. Okay? I am dropping. Now, remember, this bottle here is a lot like this bottle here. So what are the words that we used with this bottle? Think about that, guys, because this bottle is similar. I also have to squeeze it. Talal, very good. So you could say, I am squirting food coloring into the vinegar. Good. I am squirting food coloring into the vinegar. And Dean, I see your sentence. You're shaking the bottle in order to mix all the elements. All the elements. For that sentence, I would put an article in there. So I am shaking the bottle to mix all the elements. Now, a common word that you'll hear, Dean, instead of elements is ingredients. Ingredients. Okay. Ingredients is a word that you'll hear. It's a little more common. Okay. So I'm mixing all of the ingredients. I'm shaking the bottle in order to mix all of the ingredients. Talal, squirting, you're very right. I could use squirting to describe putting the food coloring into the vinegar. Nakota, does vinegar stink? You know what vinegar smells like. What does vinegar smell like? The vinegar has a very strong smell. Yes, some people think it stinks. It's on my hands a little bit. Yeah, it kind of stinks to answer your question. All right. So Abdullahi, yes, shaking. This is shaking. Absolutely. You guys did great with that one. Khaled, let's see what you have. Concuss. Concuss is a different word. Concuss is not a word I would use to describe anything that happened just now. Okay. Try to think of some simpler words to describe it. All right. Nakota, the ingredients have been mixed. Exactly. So if you wanted to use a passive sentence, the ingredients have been mixed. Instead of saying I mixed the ingredients have been mixed. You could say that too. All right. Dean, awesome. I'm glad you understand. Now, other things you could say is that Javier, Javier, you're at work again. Don't get in trouble, Javier. I don't want you to get in trouble at work, okay? So be careful. Make sure you don't get caught. All right. So they are mixed. Yes, they are mixed. Now, when you say they're mixed, you want to use the right word there. This is the word that you want to use. They are mixed. They're mixed. Okay. Their is a different word. That's not the word you want to use for this sentence. Okay. All right. So, Margaret, the ingredients have been mixed. So when you use have been, you always have to use the participle. They have been mixed with ed at the end. All right, Margaret? But that was good sentence. All right. I'm in a plane? Really? Wow, that's amazing. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys this reaction one more time, and then we're going to finish up because our class is pretty much done for today. So one more time, I'm going to show you the reaction, and you guys can try to describe it one more time. Okay. So here's my baking soda. Here's my vinegar, which is now blue that you guys decided. Now, what do you see? How would you describe that? Okay, you guys have one more chance to type a sentence and I'll help you out with that. How would you describe that? So I'm mixing the ingredients, yes, Abdu, but what do you see happening? There's something kind of interesting happening. What do you see happening? All right, let's see what we have in the comments. So I did mix the ingredients. Yes, Abdu, I mixed the ingredients. Javier, bubbles. Yes, bubbles. Now, Javier, give me a sentence, okay? If you can. I know you're at work, so maybe you can't type a full sentence right now. Okay. Let's see. The blue vinegar has been poured into the powder to cause a reaction. Nakota, that's beautiful. The blue vinegar has been poured into the powder. Just remember the D in powder to cause a reaction. Excellent. Very nice. There is many bubbles. Margar, you're close, but think about this. Bubbles. Bubbles has an S at the end because there was more than one. So is not the right word. Margar, what word should you use instead of is if you're talking about more than one bubble? All right. So, Dark Thunder, I don't know what you're talking about anymore. Okay. Talal, boiling. Okay. I'm glad you brought this up. You cannot use boiling to describe this type of bubbling. Here's why. Boiling means that you've added heat to it. Okay. So when you put water on the stove and you turn the stove on, then you're boiling water. But here, there's no heat. It's not hot at all. So it's making bubbles, but not boiling. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point to know. All right, what else do we have? Nakota, you're doing good. Let's see. Aisha, I wrote the two. Oh, Aisha, did I miss your sentences? Sorry, hold on. Let me go back. Aisha, where are your sentences? Aisha. Um, you put a few drops of food coloring in the vinegar and then you mixed it. Is that the sentence? I'm sorry, Aisha. I didn't mean to miss that. So that's a very good sentence. Here's what you want to fix. You put, or I put, a few drops of food coloring in the vinegar, and then then I mixed it. Okay? There you go. So that was a very good sentence. You tried to make it a little bit more complicated. Very nice. Okay. So, yes, thank you for pointing that out to me. I didn't realize that you had a sentence up there that I missed. Apologies. All right. Let me see who else is down here. Aisha, I think I got your sentence. Now, if there's another one that I missed, Aisha, you can type it in again. All right. So, Dean, the reaction creates more bubbles. Yes. So, the reaction creates lots of bubbles. Let's see, Faris, you're putting the soda powder in the container. So, Faris, close. The baking soda, it's called baking soda, is already in the container. And then I put the vinegar into the baking soda. Okay, so that's how I would describe what I just did. Okay, Dark Thunder, it's okay. Don't worry about it. All right, Nakota, you have to go to class. All right, thank you for coming, Nakota. I really appreciate your coming and participating. Sahir, you're putting it. Sahir, you have to tell me a little bit more. I'm putting what? And where did I put it? You got to give me some more details, Sahir. That is not a complete sentence, okay? Margar, reaction makes many bubbles. Yes. Now, don't forget, reaction at the beginning of the sentence, you want to use an article. The reaction makes many bubbles, okay? The reaction makes many bubbles, or the reaction makes lots of bubbles. Talal, the liquid is evaporating. So, someone brought up evaporating before, and evaporating is not the right word to use for this. Okay. So evaporating is different. And when we have another class, we'll talk about evaporating. All right. So, Aisha, you're welcome. And let me know if you have more questions. Okay, Aisha? Faris, blue. Yeah, everything was blue this time. Margar, thank you for coming. So, guys, we're going to wrap up now. Okay. So, there are a couple of things that I want to share with you. First of all, this class is a little bit different than the other classes that I've done on Facebook. Sahir, you're putting the blue water in the vinegar. Oh, not exactly, but good try. You're close. So, this is blue vinegar. This is vinegar. And I put the blue vinegar into the baking soda. Okay, Sahir? So I put the blue vinegar into the baking soda. All right. Talal, good question. So that's what I'm going to talk about now, is about the next classes, so you guys don't miss anything. So the first thing I'm going to ask you guys is, if you found this class helpful, if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, please, there's a little thumbs up. Please give this class a thumbs up. This really helps other students to find my classes. So if you enjoyed this class, if you liked this class, please give this video a thumbs up, guys. I'd really appreciate it. The other thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is, if you know someone else who's studying English, and I bet everybody here knows someone else who's studying English, share this video with them. Okay, you can share this video with your friends. You can share this video with a group that you're in. Anyone who is studying English, share this video with them. Now, the next class is most likely going to be next week. Now, if you want to know when all of my free classes are, okay, the best thing for you to do is join my Facebook page. Okay, on my Facebook page, I always post the the free classes. Okay, there's a section for events, and the events there are all the free classes. Okay, so if you want to know whenever I'm having another class like this, go to the Facebook page and follow the page, like the page, and that way you'll get notified whenever I set up a new event and you'll know when the next class is. Okay, the other thing I want to remind you guys is if you need more help with your English, I have an English club that you guys can join. If you want to join the English club, all you have to do is go to my website and you can join the English club from the home page. Okay, all you have to do is go to my website, go to the bottom of the page, and you can join the club right there. It's ivyleagueenglish.com. All right, and the last thing I want to remind you guys is that in addition to these free classes, I also have private classes and small group classes. So if anyone is interested in small group or private classes, you should definitely visit my website. I have one small group class that's starting soon. It's starting on March 18th. So if you're interested in working on your conversation skills, actually speaking with me and practicing your speaking skills, that might be a class that you're interested in. So you can go to my website and look at the classes. And if you're interested in joining a class, you can schedule a meeting with me so that we can talk about which class is the best class for you. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the comments. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Um, really, oh, thank you very much. You're welcome, Talal. We put a lot thump, thump. Martyr, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe you typed that incorrectly. Maybe that's a mistake. Aisha, I'm glad you enjoyed the class. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, okay, guys? You're welcome. I really appreciate you guys coming. And let's see, Javier, I'll check my Facebook out. Yes, check your Facebook so that you don't miss any classes. If you like my page, you'll always get notifications when I have new classes. Faris, I'm pouring the food coloring into the vinegar and mixed it. Okay, so Faris, there's one thing you have to fix with that sentence. The beginning of the sentence, you use the present tense. You are pouring. And then at the end of the sentence, you change to the past tense. That's a no-no. You got to be careful of that. Okay. So you got to pick one tense for your sentence. Okay. So Faris, you can try that sentence one more time. We have like a couple more minutes. Abdu, the wonderful and very useful. This class, Abdu, I'm glad you found it useful. Please give this video a thumbs up. You can share it with anyone who you know who's studying English and come to my other free classes. I'd love to see you guys again. Okay. So, Faris, you can go ahead and try that last sentence one more time. If anybody has any last minute questions that they want to ask, we have about 2 more minutes. If anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask, feel free to go ahead and do that. Talel, oh, you appreciate my efforts. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys appreciate this. And Sahir, where am I living now? Okay, so Sahir, the more common way to ask that question is where do you live now? Where do you live now? I know that where I live is happening right now, but most times native speakers, when they ask that question, they would use the simple present, not the present continuous. And to answer your question, I live in Connecticut. I live in Connecticut, which is a state in the United States. Okay. Originally from New York. I was born in New York, and now I live in Connecticut, which is not far from New York at all. They're actually like right next to each other. All right. So, Javier, I'm glad I get to be your student. I'm so glad you get to be my student too. You guys are great students. You come to class, you participate. That's what a teacher wants. All right. So, thank you guys so much for coming. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like this video, and you can even leave a comment on this video if you'd like. All right, guys? But that's it for today. I hope to see you soon. All right. Have a good afternoon, a good evening, a good morning, or a good night.